Welcome back to the Practical Church Podcast. My name is Dylan Dotson, and this show is all about helping you plant and grow healthy churches. As always, we're brought to you in partnership with Mission Support, and on today's episode, I'm going to share with you 7 things to fix on your church website this week. It's been a little bit over a year since we did a church website video or podcast, and so I want to give you some ideas and things that you can do actually actionable this week. And of course, speaking of church websites, you can go to missionsupport.com. They will help you love being a pastor again, to help you with a lot of the back end things going on at your church. And one of the things that they help with is websites. So man, having a website that's functional, getting you SEO, so getting you on the top 10 of whatever city you're in, of churches near me, all that sort of thing. Be sure to check out missionsupport.com to get all of your website needs taken care of if this is an area of overwhelm for you. The good news is all the tips that I'm going to share today are things that you can easily communicate to your website builder, to Mission Support, or if you do it in-house as well. But check out Mission Support today and man, let them help you love being a pastor again. And so today's episode, 7 things to fix on your church website. Some of this stuff I've shared a little bit in the past, just like general website stuff. Some of the stuff's a little bit newer. But, you know, as I kind of talked about a lot of times on the show, man, your online presence matters. And the thing about church websites is they're not hard to do. And yet so many churches do them poorly. And part of that is because they don't realize the number one demographic of person going to their website is new people. And so they don't have it structured in a way that new people can actually like quickly find out what they're trying to figure out. So this episode, I just want to share with you some practical things. And here's a good news, like you could do all that stuff this week, even today if you wanted to. So let's jump in. Here is number 1. Number 1 is this: having a simplified homepage. This is more of a general principle. But I'm going to explain what this actually looks like. This first step is to fix on your website, have a much more simplified homepage than many churches actually have. So in my experience, a lot of churches require too much scrolling. So there's just like, it's like an old school church bulletin, their homepage of the website. So way too much information, way too much scrolling. They're giving information on like everything from groups to serving, to giving, to the sermon, to about the staff, to about the pastor. And it's like, it's all on the homepage, and that's too much information. It's certainly too overwhelming, especially if someone's the first time they're going to the website. It's like, hey, listen, I'm just going to your website because I'm interested in coming on Sunday. And if I want to click around, that's great. But if I have to like scroll through a bunch of information to get to the primary information I care about, then my chances of coming, you've actually significantly reduced or increased the friction. And again, what's challenging here is it's not hard to have a good looking website these days. So again, things like Mission Support is a great place to do it. I'll talk about more about third party stuff in a second. It's just not hard. And so again, it's not a competition between you and other churches. But I'm sure there are many churches in your area who probably have like decently functioning, quick looking, good looking websites. And if yours is a mess, it's going to be really hard for new people to find the information that they want. So I would just say, maybe rule of thumb, if you were going on a computer, and you should probably have to spend no more than like 3 to 5, maybe let's say 5 seconds scrolling down to get through all of the main homepage information. Now, I'm not saying you can't have any information. Like on our website, ours is not perfect, but like if you want to a reference point, you can go to newcityrdu.com. And on the top here, I'm going to pull it up as I'm sharing it with you, just to kind of walk you through what our website looks like. On the very top, it has a picture, as a scrolling pictures of people from our church. It says, "You matter to God, you matter to us." And there's a button that says "Plan a Visit." Right under that, it says Sundays at Pine Hollow Middle School, where we meet. And then it has our address. This is important. You've got to have this on your homepage, which I'll talk about in a second, where you meet, and it has to actually have the address. It can't just say we're in this building or we're in this school or whatever, because people want to know the address. And also, if they're not familiar with the area, they might not even know that this church actually meets in their city. So I have that. Scroll down a little bit more. We have our upcoming events, the things that are happening in less than a month. Now, this is just like, they're really just images. If you want more information, you have to click on them. And then there's a Plan a Visit, New City Kids, let's see, Next Steps, Connect with us on social, then our website. And that's it. So, and all this stuff. So even the things that there's a section on New City or Plan a Visit. It's a sentence long. New City Kids. It's a sentence long. Next Steps. It says find ways to take next steps in your faith. Each of those things have a picture next to it, and it's just like very minimal text. So I'm not saying you can't have information about the things that are important to your church on your homepage, your website, but you can't be explaining everything about those things on the homepage. It needs to be quick links. Hey, if you want more information about this, click here. Information about this, click here. Information about this, click here. A lot of times it's like multiple paragraphs or even one paragraph about each individual thing, and it is way too much. It should be a quick scroll, all the highlight information on the homepage that you want to share. But make sure that you don't go too much detail. Like, just make it obvious. If you want more information about this, you can click here. More information about this, you can click here. Again, in my experience, a lot of church websites are clunky. They're not designed very well. And part of the reason is they have way too much information on their homepage. Now, you don't want to have nothing on your homepage, but you want to have like, hey, these are the highlights, knowing that primarily new people are going to your homepage more than anyone else. If there's things you want them to know, you don't need to spell out in detail about all your ministries or all your things. Just have like a small, quick little blurb about this thing, or this thing, and they can click and be very obvious. Like, obviously, like you can click here if you want more information, so that they maybe don't have to go out of their way on their website to search it, but you don't want it all there on the homepage because it's going to be too long, too much text, and nobody really wants to read it. And of course, on mobile, the screens are even smaller, and so it's more scrolling, and the text could get clumpy even quicker. So you want to have a very minimalistic, I guess is the word I'm looking for, homepage. Not that you don't have information on it, but it's very short, very quick, and it is not overwhelming. So number one, I would just say a simplified homepage. New Cities, ours is not the best. But again, if you're a small, medium-sized church and you just want a reference point, you can look at ours and what we do, and obviously take and leave what you want. But there's a lot of church websites that just have way too much information, and then you can lose people because, I don't even know if it's better to have, it might even be better to have not enough information than too much. But, and it just doesn't look good because that's just not how modern websites for the most part function today. A lot of clunky text on a homepage doesn't look good, and so I would recommend fixing that on yours. So a simplified homepage, not too much scrolling, not too much information. That's the first thing I'd recommend. Number two, now this is not new. I've shared this many times before. The three things you need on your homepage are your service times, your address, and an I'm new button or link. Service time, address, I'm new button or link. Or it could say plan a visit, but something for new people for them to like realize, oh, this website is for me. Let me go get more information. So again, it's just funny to me how many people miss these things. Your service times, it cannot just be we meet on Sunday mornings, obviously, or Sunday afternoons or whenever you might meet. You need the actual time or times if you have multiple services. Now that's the one that's the most, most people put on there. So that's probably the one that's missed the least, but I just want to reiterate, if you don't, your service times need to be on there. The second thing is your physical address needs to be on there. And I would recommend I've seen some websites where they say like, click here for directions, and it takes them to the Google Maps, which is fine. But again, I would recommend seeing the actual address on your website. It's okay to have the address and then like click here for like an automatic GPS thing, but they just need to have like in their mind, okay, is this church near me or not? So please, please, please have your address. Now, churches that meet in a building of their own are much more likely to have an address. A lot of portable churches will say things, for example, we meet at this middle school, or we meet at this community center, or something like that. And it's like, man, people don't know where that is. If they don't have kids that go to school there, if they've never been to that community center, you might be familiar with it because you go all the time, but like a lot of people in your community won't know what that is. And if you make them have to go and Google for themselves, hey, you're just creating friction that they can't make a quick decision. Hey, is this near me or not? So please add your address. Again, what we do, since we are now portable, we meet at Pine Hollow Middle School, and then so it says we meet at Sundays, Pine Hollow Middle School, and then it has the address right below it. So it's very obvious where we meet. And then, of course, some sort of I'm new or what's the other word for? I'm new or plan a visit. That's what I'm looking for. Something like that. That actually like a button on the homepage that's easy to click. Now, and then of course they can click that. It'll take them to a page. So if I were to pull up New Cities, again, so if you click the plan a visit, this is the button on the top of the homepage, and then like halfway through the homepage, there's another place you click it. It just says plan a visit. It has our Sundays at 10 a.m. at our address, social media, and then it has basically an FAQ page. Ours is what's called an accordion, so you can click on each question and it will like answer it for you. And again, I would just like, if you need this and you don't have one right now, just copy ours and then edit whatever information you need. You might need to add an extra question that you get a lot, or maybe remove a question because it's not relevant to you, but it's really like an FAQ. So here's what ours talks about on our Plan a Visit website. I'm looking at it right now. It says, what will services be like? And again, this is like a couple of sentences each. What time should I arrive? Do you have something for children? What should I wear? How do I get there? Do I have to give an offering? And will I be called out as a guest? And then there's a below that, there's a place where they can send us an email or a message, but it goes to our emails like right on that page. So it's just like quick information. If I'm new, here are the quick things that you need to know about your website or about our church if you're planning on coming. So again, service times, most churches have that. Address, I'm surprised at the number of churches that don't have that. And then I'm new button, which even more churches don't have that. Again, I guess you could like put all the I'm new stuff just on your homepage, but in my opinion, it becomes too clunky and too much information. So it allows them to like get specific. The I'm new specific stuff is about Sunday morning in particular. So it's not necessarily about community groups or serving and that sort of thing. It's really about, hey, if I'm going to come on a Sunday, what do I need to know? What should I expect? All that sort of thing. So again, on your homepage, please have service time, address, and an I'm new or plan a visit, something to that effect that's very obvious. I'm interested in coming to your church. It communicates you expect people like me to come to your church, and I can get quick answers to kind of the main questions. So please, those three things: service times, address, I'm new button on your homepage. Number 3, this is just maybe a reminder more than anything to please update your website. Now, certainly your homepage, and what I mean by this is many churches leave up, hey, here's our Christmas Eve service stuff, and it's halfway through January, or here's our Easter stuff, and it was 2 months ago, or here's a church event we did, and it was a month ago. You need to like be on top of taking these things off. So whether it's, you do it in-house, whether you have something like mission support, whatever, you need to be set reminders. There are some website builders that so we've used the Churchco for a long, long time. And so when we have our events on our homepage, it's like as soon as the event has passed, it automatically is removed off our website. So whether your provider does it automatically, which is great, if not, you just like need to set a reminder on your task list, like the day after every event, hey, when this event does, take it off my website. It just looks like you don't care. And again, most websites, particularly other websites that people are going to that are not church websites, they don't have information from stuff that happened a month ago or a week ago. Or if they do, it's kind of like, yeah, this is not like that really well run because so many people are going online. Please update your website. So again, the big thing I've just for that is events, but it could be, for example, things like staff. If you had a staff transition or, maybe you moved, you need to get some more pictures on there, whatever it is, you just need to make a note, like, because you're probably not going there very much, that you did maybe once a month if you're like doing it yourself and you don't have someone helping you. Hey, I'm going through your website. Homepage, absolutely. But even the other pages, like again, your about page or your staff page, or if you got stuff about your, ministry information, all that sort of thing, please make sure your website is updated. This is a small thing that can be fixed that I just see a lot of churches don't do. And maybe just my opinion, I think that communicates a lot. I think it communicates a lot because it's not hard to keep up with this. And I would just say this, there's virtually nobody probably anymore that's going to come to your church on a Sunday for the first time that does not go to your website first. Hardly anyone's ever going to do that. And if you know that and you have a website that's constantly not updated, it just communicates that, man, you just really don't care if new people come to your church or not. So I'm not trying to be too harsh on that. It's just, I just see it so much and it's a personal frustration of mine because it's a very low bar and it doesn't take a lot of work to do. So please make sure your website is updated. And so speaking of, things you can fix on your church website, this week, I would check today, and depending on how you do your website stuff, maybe set a reminder like every month, go through the pages, make sure everything is up to date because it just doesn't look good if things are out of date. Number 4, having real pictures of your church gatherings. And so on your various websites, on your various pages, on your homepage, that sort of thing, obviously the stock photos, I think everyone knows that's a no-no anymore and you can't do that sort of thing. It's increasingly pretty easy to have pictures on your homepage or on your website. And so you should do that. Now, what we did right now is as I'm recording this, we are just a couple of weeks into our brand new location. And so all of our pictures on our website are from not our new space. And so what I've been doing, since we take pictures pretty much every week, every Sunday at New City, they're not all relevant or helpful to a website, but I have a reminder every Tuesday right now to go through the pictures that we took on Sunday and to slowly update our website with new ones. Now, there are some particular ones we haven't gotten yet, like good ones of the worship service, although I guess as I'm recording this, we did, or of like the preaching or like the kids' rooms, that sort of thing. So some of this stuff is going to take time, but because I want to slowly update our website to our new pictures, I'm doing it every Tuesday. Now, again, you want good website pictures. So you want people looking at the camera, smiling, not awkward, not weird. So it's not like I can just like take all of the pictures from the first 3 weeks at our new site and just put them all on the website, because we have, sometimes these candid pictures turn out really well and you don't always get tons of them every single week. And so that's what we're doing. And we're editing some of them that look good. We're actually editing them a little bit post picture taking to make them look good on the website. But I would just say, like, take pictures. Now, if you don't have someone with a photographer or at least a camera, I mean, we typically have someone with a camera every week, and so they post it on Instagram and Facebook, and then we have a Google Drive folder where the images are posted. So you could do one of two things. You could have a folder that the images are posted every week there, because not all the pictures that we take on Sunday make social media, because you don't want to have too many pictures. Or, if that seems too complicated, you can just literally take the pictures that you like from Facebook and just like drag them onto your desktop and upload them. Now, the quality of the pictures, the file size gets reduced a little bit on Facebook as opposed to actually directly uploading the files to your computer. But I think by and large, it's not really that much of a difference, especially if you listen to this. I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're like, I don't know where all the pictures are, I would just go on your church's Facebook page and just scroll through it and just like grab 5-10 pictures that you think are really good, put them on your computer, and then go look at your website and slowly update them that way. So again, also when it comes to updating your website, like, let's get some pictures that aren't 10 years old. Or if you move locations, it's not that you have to take every picture off from an old location if it's a good picture. It's just that you want people who go to your website, again, because they are predominantly new people, to actually see what the church is going to look like when they show up. So again, the first couple of weeks at our new space, if you go to our website and then you go to the middle school, you'll be like, this is not what the website looked like, which is why every week I'm slowly updating the pictures so that people don't get like a false idea or something like that. So I would just take real pictures of your church gatherings and have a Google Drive folder or however you want to store those files. Or simply, if you post them on Facebook, you can just grab them from Facebook and upload them. But just go through every once in a while, update the pictures, make sure they look good. And that could be a helpful way to fix your website. Let's see. Number 5, too many menu options. So one of the things that I see is that a church will have too many menu options. So what I mean by menu is on the top, like the header part of your website. On New City's website, ours says, I'm new, get connected, sermons, and give. Those are the 4 that are up there. I guess it says home too, but that's a default one if you're on another link. But really, it's I'm new, get connected, sermons, give. We have 4 options. One of the things that I see a lot of churches is they have like 8 or 9 or 10. And again, websites have kind of changed over time. So like most websites, again, depending on what you're going to, but generally speaking, it's more of a minimalistic look these days. So you shouldn't have tons of things on your menu. Now, if you scroll over, if you're on a computer and you were on New City's website and you were to put your mouse over I'm new, or if you were to tap on it, if you're on mobile, there's a drop-down menu that says plan a visit, it says about us, it says our team and our beliefs. So there's multiple options there. Under get connected, it talks about the weekender, upcoming events, different ways to serve. There's like multiple things there. Sermons, it's just, there's no drop down, it's just sermons. And then give, there's also no drop down, it's just give. I would highly recommend making your sermons easy to find, because that's one of the big things that new people want to find is your sermons. So you should have that easy to find. And get connected, again, I would just say something like get connected and then have a drop down, or you could say ministries. That's another word for get connected, or another one that people have. I would just try to probably have fewer than you have right now. Now, you can have a drop-down menu of more things, but it looks way too busy, and it's just like not really how a lot of websites look these days, to have a really full menu. So that's what I recommend. Don't have condense the main options up top. Try to have people have like less choices. Like if I'm new and there's 10 options on the top of your website of things to click through, it's kind of confusing. But if I'm new and I see an I'm new thing on the top, a menu item, and there's a drop down of it, it's all the stuff that's relevant to somebody who's new. Ours that says get connected, it's like, hey, if I'm trying to take my next steps, everything that's under the get connected, baptism, weekender, serving, community groups, like these are ways to get more connected to the church. And then obviously sermons and give are self-explanatory. I would just, as a rule, put the give option as the one all the way on the top right. You want to make that super easy for people to find. And then again, I also personally would do sermons. I sometimes see sermons tucked under someone's menu items. So maybe I'm new or get connected or ministries, and then there's sermons there. I just personally don't would not recommend that, because a lot of people, if they're new to your church or they're trying to check you out, then it's not necessarily that they're going to listen to a whole sermon, but they do want to see what the preacher sounds like or what it looks like, that sort of thing. And so I would highly recommend having sermons or messages, I mean, you could call it either one, something like that, as its own menu item, so that people don't have to go search and try to find it. Because there's been multiple times, I've been looking on church websites and I'm like, where are the sermons at? Because if you're new, you want service time, you want address, and ideally, you want like an I'm new tab, although you may not know you want that until you go to the website, and you're probably looking for the sermons. And so you don't want to create a lot of friction of like where to find these things. So that's my recommendation, is that a lot of churches have too many menu items in options in their header. You want to reduce those. You can have drop downs and add more stuff there, but you don't want to overwhelm people with information, because then they don't know what to click. There's too many choices and it's just like, I don't know what to do with this. So number 5, too many menu options in your header. That's something you might want to look at your website and fix this week if you do. Number 6, I've alluded to this a couple of times, and that is using a third party, outside source to help you run your website. It's just so much easier and it's so affordable these days that I would recommend having something. Now, you could build your own. There's things like Squarespace that's kind of plug and play. I would just say, so personally, DylanDotson.com, I used Squarespace for a while, and then I moved that over to Beehive, which is the Best Minute newsletter. They have a website builder. And so I'll like to say Squarespace is plug and play. We personally, for our church, have used the ChurchCo for a number of years now, and theirs is plug and play. But it's different when you have something that's like designed for churches and it takes some of the technicality out of it. So I would just recommend like not doing it in-house unless you have someone who's like really good and enjoys it. Again, the problem with, and again, this is different. If you're a larger church, obviously that's different. Most small, medium-sized churches, I would not do it in-house, because again, if the person in-house who is doing your website leaves, you're not going to know anybody. I mean, you're going to have a hard time, having someone trained to know how to do it. I also would recommend some sort of third party, so that, man, you, the pastor, or whoever's listening to this, can like easily update the website if you need to, or you have someone on staff who's not, coding savvy, that can keep the website updated. What I see sometimes is with well-intentioned people in your church, like, hey, I'll help the website for you, which is great. But then it comes to, let's see, the third issue on this episode, I talked about updating your website. When you have like a non-staff volunteer update your website, if you can't communicate them with quickly, like that day or that week, like, hey, I need this updated this week, then it becomes a problem. So something like the ChurchCo or something like Mission Support, having somebody, a third party who knows church websites, and all you have to do is like, hey, do this for me, or you can really easily yourself figure out how to do it. That's what I would recommend. So I would just be wary of, I've got some friends who have had people have gone that route, have gone like, let's do it in-house essentially. And then their person who like knows some coding, in my opinion, the website actually does not look as good. And then anytime they want to update it, it's kind of like a complicated thing, because they got to get this person to go do it, and they're not very responsive, and they've got another job. So I would just recommend using a third party. There is no reason, in my opinion, not to do this, and it will cost you way more money to not do it than to do it. So this is, again, part of my frustration with maybe online engagement or church websites and churches not doing a good job on this, is that the cost entry is so low. It is so low. And if you can't afford, someone to help you with your website, like, I think you've got other budgetary problems with your church. And I would just say the ROI on this is simple. If somebody comes to your, just having one person who came to your church because your website was helpful, as opposed to they clicked around and never came and never got connected, so they never gave. Like, it's just like, this should not, in my opinion, shouldn't even be discussion. Now some people, like personal website builders cost a lot of money, which is why I would recommend more of a third party approach, like Mission Support, something like that, where that's just what they do, is they make websites. They're not like an individual person, because those can cost a lot of money. But a lot of these third party, contracting services, they don't cost a lot of money, and they're helpful. So I would just say, if you're concerned about cost, man, you are missing it here. You're concerned about the wrong thing. But also too, like, it's so inexpensive. Like, I would pay, like, for how we do it now, like, I legitimately, I would pay like quadruple what we paid right now for our website services. I would pay like almost quadruple to keep it, because it's so simple. It looks good. We know how to do it, and we're not like trying to code everything ourselves. So I would just say, use a third party. There's so many good ones out there, and Mission Support, ChurchCo, those are great ones to start with. Number 7, this is last but not least, this is a big pet peeve of mine. It's this: add contact info on your website. Specifically on your staff page, please put their email address. I cannot tell you how many times I try to go to email somebody, a pastor, that sort of thing, got a question, want to connect, whatever, and there's no way to contact them on their staff page. There's no contact. There's nothing on there, and they maybe have like an info@church.com, but those just look so impersonal. And sometimes it's like I don't necessarily want like sometimes I want to reach out to a pastor. Like I don't want like the average person seeing this. Like I actually want them to see it specifically. So it's just not helpful. So I was just like, man, put contact info on your website. Now what we do on our homepage, if you scroll to the bottom of our homepage, there's a form that's just name, email, and message. So like you can fill that out. That goes directly to like me and 2 other people, just so we see it. You actually don't have to send an email. It's like embedded in the website. But also, if you go to our staff page, we have all of our staff. And I think maybe some people don't want to do that because of spam, and I'm just like, that's not a good reason. We've for 8 years have had our email on our website, and we use Gmail. That's the Google Suite is how we run our emails. And so, yeah, like all email providers, they have spam folders. I don't really get much spam. Now, I will say, yes, having my email on the website means that, I get contacted from like this business. They're trying to sell our church this thing, this cleaning service. And that's kind of annoying, but it's worth it that like the average person who needs to contact me, I'm very easy to find. Like you just go to New City staff info and my email's right there. Now, if you're a really large church, maybe that's different. And so maybe the lead pastor's email is not on there, but someone else's, but that's fine. But like, if you're listening to this, you probably should have your email on your website. At least the rest of the staff should, if not you. But generally speaking, I would recommend you have your email on your website as well. And I'm just like, I just think that's low hanging fruit. I don't know why churches like don't think they put it up there, but they'll have like the picture of the person, they'll have a little bio, and then there's no way to contact them, which is not helpful. I'm not saying you put your phone number on there, but I do recommend putting your email address on there. And it's a surprise to me how many churches don't do that. And again, you're just creating friction for people who are trying to connect with your church. So all that to say, there are 7 things to fix on your church website this week. Number 1, a simplified homepage, and then service times, address, and I'm new button should be on your homepage. Update your website, homepage, all of it. Real pictures of your church gatherings on your website. Too many menu options in the header. You need to reduce those. Use a third party to help you with your website. And last but not least, add contact info, which is emails, on your staff page. So my observation for this episode is a reminder that people just want clear answers. People just want clear answers. As I'm recording this, the week prior to this, every July 4th weekend, we do a Q&A Sunday. And so it's just a lot of fun. People are very gracious. I mean, we tell people, hey, like, be kind to us. We're seeing these questions real time. We might not word things specifically. And obviously we can't like do any studies. So this is kind of top of the head. But people always really enjoy it. And I think because part of the reason they enjoy it is like, we do give clear answers on our Q&A Sundays. Here's what we think. Here's where our stance is. Here's what we believe. Here's what I personally believe. And it's not like this, well, maybe let me give you a bunch of caveats. Like, yes, there are exceptions, or generally, we might say like, generally speaking, here's what I would recommend in this situation. Obviously, there are things that can make it different. But I think part of what makes our Q&A helpful is that we give clear answers. And the things that we might not know, we will say, hey, I'm not sure about this, but like we give clear answers. And one-on-one meetings, when people ask me about church positions. So again, last week, as I'm recording this, I had a new family, and he was asking me like 3 or 4 questions about what our church believes about X, Y, and Z. And he was very respectful, and they're new to the area, and they're trying to figure out church stuff. And I was talking to him, and he's like, well, I got the pastor here, I might as well ask some questions. And what's interesting is I didn't know his position on any of his questions as he was asking them. Now, after he asked a few questions, I could be like, oh, okay, I think I know where this is going. But in the beginning I didn't. And so instead of like trying to be like, well, I just like gave clear answers, because we're trying to hide what we believe, and you can agree or disagree, but this is what I believe. Here's how we function as a church. And I could just tell he really appreciated that. Most of the answers I think he was like aligned with. There was probably 1 or 2 questions he had that he might have differed a little bit. But then we end up getting coffee. They came back again, and like it looks like they're going to get connected at our church. And I just think it was really helpful for him that it was like, here's a question. He doesn't know what I think, but I'm going to ask him what his stance on it is on it anyway. And it was just helpful. Like, people just want clear answers. I think sometimes we assume that people want 100%, and sure, this for some people this is true, but I think sometimes we think people want like 100%. They have to agree with everything, or I'm leaving. And really, they don't know. There's been many times where I found people asking me questions and they don't even know their own position. They're just curious. So my recommendation is like, be very clear on what any situation that you're in, meeting, church gathering thing, whatever. Just give clear answers. If most people, if you're like chill about it and here's where I stand, they're going to be fine with it. If you start getting nervous or give a bunch of caveats, man, it's not helpful to anyone. And then they might start getting nervous as well. So my observation, just remember, people just want clear answers, whether it's a Q&A that you're doing, whether it's a one-on-one meeting you're doing, whether it's a church gathering, member meeting, or whatever, your onboarding process. People just want clear answers. And if you give them clear answers, I think things will go much better for you and for them. This episode's personal growth tip is this idea: never try once. Never try once. Here's the thing. If you only try once, you'll have no margin for error. If you only try once, you'll have no margin for error. The more you try, the greater your chance of getting it right. So find a way to get more attempts, or in many cases, don't give up so soon. Find a way to get more attempts, to do the thing more often, or in other cases, like I said, just don't give up so quickly, because the person who takes 1,000 shots is going to score at some point. The person who takes 1,000 shots is going to score at some point. So I would just say, like, if you're leading a new initiative, if you're preaching for your first time, if you're leading a community group for the first time, if you're leading a meeting for the first time, like, it's never going to go perfect anyway. And if you give yourself too much pressure of like, this has to go perfect or I'm not going to stick with it, you're setting yourself up for failure. I think this is also why churches should be, generally speaking, a little bit slower at bringing up or doing new initiatives or new ministries. And so it said, what I would do is I would try it a little bit more on the organic level, or, personal word of mouth invitation level. Do it a couple of times. And then if it gains steam and you can like say, hey, this worked, this didn't work, then you can introduce it as like a new thing at your church. So whether it's like a new group structure, a new ministry, a new student initiative, or whatever, I'm a big fan of like doing it low key at first, kind of word of mouth. Hey, we're just trying this. And then when you announce it to the church, if you've never done it before, then you have less margin for error because it's going to look like things aren't together. But if you tried a few things, you tweaked it a little bit, then you're ready to go. I would just say, remind yourself, if you only try once, you have no margin for error. So give yourself the opportunity to step up, to do it again, whether this is church-wise or just in your personal life. Giving up too soon is one of the biggest reasons we don't hit our goals, because we haven't given ourselves enough shots at the target to try it. If you only try once, you have no margin for error. Today's ministry question comes from a church planter I was talking about a few weeks ago. And one of the things, I share on the show, share with him, is like the importance of talking about giving. And so he asked me this: how can I talk about church giving without sounding desperate? Obviously, they're in the church plant mode, the launch phase, where they're trying to raise a bunch of money. So they need money, and he's afraid of sounding desperate. And my advice for him is the same I give to a lot of pastors, is that you should never apologize for talking about money. And you shouldn't feel weird talking about money, just like you don't feel weird talking about a number of biblical subjects. A lot of times people start feeling weird about money because the pastor is weird about it, or they apologize. They may have maybe you got a sermon and it's going to hit on some financial stuff, and you're like, well, just so you know, we don't normally talk about money. We don't just want your money. We want good for you, and you give all the caveats, and then you finally get into your sermon, and then people are thinking, well, I guess I should feel weird about this because you've apologize before you've even begun. So my recommendation is talk about money normally, often, like it's not a big deal, because it's not. And hear me, if you genuinely want good for people and you're not after their money, they'll know. It comes across as oh man, you just want good for me. So now, when it comes to a church planting situation and you are a little bit somewhat desperate, I would just be honest. Here's how much we're raising. We would love for you to support us. We are trying to hit this goal. We do need to get this money, but you don't have to sound scared, desperate, or guilty, and you don't have to be awkward about it. This is our goal. We're going to do this thing. We'd love to invite you in on it, and we'd love to participate. And just have the confidence that God is going to be faithful and provide, especially if you've done your prep work and training ahead of time. You're building up a team, that sort of thing. But again, how can I talk about church giving without sounding desperate? Is just talk about it normally. Now, maybe you need to talk about it a little bit more so that you can start talking about it normally, because maybe you have been trained, the church world, to let's apologize and give a million caveats before we talk about money, and you need to slowly break yourself out of the habit. So maybe just talk about it more. But it's not a weird thing. Don't make it weird. Talk about it as a normal thing, because it is a normal thing, and then you will not come across as sounding desperate. So as always, thank you so much for joining me today on the Practical Church Show. If you want more from me, you can head to DylanDotson.com. And as always, we are brought to you in partnership with Mission Support. So be sure to check out missionsupport.com today, especially if you're trying to get your website updated and improved. They've got a number of people that can help you. And here's a great thing about Mission Support. They don't lock you into long-term contracts. So you can see it if you like it and move on if you don't, or keep going if you do. So be sure to check out missionsupport.com. And I'll be back with you in 2 weeks for another episode of the Practical Church Podcast.